Hi everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to talk about LangChain Summarization Middleware, and also we will discuss why it is very important when we are working with a LLM-based application. So let's start with a simple concept. So every large language model has something called the token limit. So this means the model can only process a fixed amount of text, which includes both input and the output at a time. Now, imagine we are building a chat application or AI assistant where users are having a long conversation using same thread ID. So in such cases, every message in the conversation is stored and this history is sent back to the model to maintain the context. So whenever we do the conversation, the context is very important, right? What we have said earlier, that is very important. And over the period of time, the total number of tokens is keep increasing. Okay, so when you start increasing, what will happen is that, and when it's reached the maximum, so we will start getting some errors, or sometimes like it will truncate old messages, which will actually lose the important context. Okay, so how can we solve this? Okay, so that is why LangChain has provided with a middleware that is called the summarization middleware. So the summarization middleware actually will summarize the conversations whenever a threshold is met. So we can decide what is that threshold. For example, this can be number of tokens, or this can be the message count, or this can be a fraction of a the total limit of the LLM model. Okay, so if you look on here, so how this works, right? So whenever we are doing some kind of the conversation, and it will check that the threshold has crossed. Okay, so whenever a threshold has crossed, it will do it will make the summary of those conversation, and it will start continuing the context and without any errors. Okay, so we'll see the basic configuration with respect to the LangChain summarization middleware. Okay, so here we can see a fraction can be set. Okay, for example, I can say that, okay, if 1 million is my context length, I can say that, okay, if 0.8% of the 1 million is met, then we have to trigger the LangChain has to trigger the summarization process. Otherwise, I can say that if like 1,000 tokens are met, then I have to do the summarization. Then also I can also keep the message count. Okay, so these are the conditions that I can trigger uh, the summarization process. Okay, similar way, I can say that, okay, once it is triggered, how much message I have to keep, right? So those also I can say based on the fractions, or based on the tokens, or based on the message count. Okay, so these are the basic configuration, and we'll see how this works in the using the LangChain. Okay, so let me open my Visual Studio Code. I have already written some code for the demo. So let me execute this. So here basically you guys can see I'm importing the few things. I am importing the summarization middleware from agent.middleware. Then we have a create React agent. Then memory saver is there, and LLM is there. So let me do that. See, this LLM is used to calculate the tokens. Okay, and this is a helper function that we are using to see the messages, and also to calculate the tokens, and every kind of a helper function that we are doing. So let me execute this. Okay, so first let's see what will happen without the middleware. Okay, so for that I have created a thread ID. A configuration is created with thread ID 000. So let's execute this. Maybe I can zoom it a little bit. Okay, the configuration is executed. Now I'm creating a agent here, agent 00. So I added a memory saver, and we are using the GPT-4o mini, and this is agent 0. Execute it, and I'm saying hi. Okay, fine. So execution is completed. Now we can see the statistics. So we can see the message count is 2, total token count is 21, and these are the 2 messages. Now I'm saying that tell me a story in 40 words. So let's execute. Here we can see that message count is 4 and the token is 88. So we can see that it is start increasing after each conversation. So I'm saying again, saying hi. and we can see that, let me open this, let me execute this. Here also we can see that message count is 6, token count is 104, and this is the message that we have done till now. Okay, so in this way, this is the first scenario that I have explained. Without any summarization, it will start increasing after each conversation, and if you are using the same thread ID. Okay. Now let's see the change when we use the middleware. So here I'm creating the agent, and also I'm using the checkpointer. This is the middleware that we are using. This is the summarization middleware, and here we can see GPT-4o mini, and I'm saying that, okay, it has to be triggered when the token limit is 100. As I said, we can make it message count or fraction. We can select like what is based on our requirement, we can select that, but here I'm just saying that, okay, trigger it whenever the token limit is 100, and I'm saying that, okay, you have to keep like last 2 messages. Okay, rest of things can be summarized and keep only the last 2 messages. Okay, so that is mean by this particular configuration. Now let's execute, and I'm setting a new thread ID, that is 001. Test 001. Executing. Okay, here we can see the message count is 2 and token count is 21. These are the 2 messages. Hi, hello, how can you assist you today? Good. Now let's have like another, tell me a story in 40 words. Okay, it's executing, and here we can see hi, hello, tell me a story, and it's mentioning the story, and total count is 88. Okay, remember our limit is, our trigger is 100. Now I'm saying like another message. Okay, here we can see the message count is 4 and token count is 163, which means it's actually crossed our threshold, right? Token limit 100. Then we can see that the summarization has been done here. Okay, so initially, the first it is summarized all the conversation. Not all. It has kept like last 2 conversation as it is, but above that it is summarized. Okay, and here we can see the summarization. Then it says about last 2 messages as it is, and this is the current message. Okay. Now let me say add 1 plus 2. This is another message. Execution is completed. Okay, here we can see message count is C and token count is 153. And if you look on this, it is again summarized the above conversation, and it is keeping the only the last 2 conversations. Okay, so this is the result. Okay, so in this way we can very easily implement the summarization middleware, and this is also like mandatory. I will say that if your requirement is to have a longer conversation, then it is really mandatory to add this kind of a middleware. Otherwise it will increase, as I said, it will increase the conversation, and finally it will break at some point of time. Okay, so that is all about in this video. I will upload this into my GitHub repository. You guys can download and you guys can try it out. Okay, so please do like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye bye.